Yeah, and welcome to Papa Stash 102. So, you want to take blues soloing to the next level? I'm here to help you out. Click that link down below. That video is not on YouTube, and that is all about target notes, using the blues scale, but how to see the chords inside the scale. And why does that matter? Because when the chord progression goes by, if you know how to see chord shapes, you're going to hit target notes, therefore sounding like you know what you're doing. Even if you're like me and just kind of understand theory, at least it'll sound like you know what you're doing. But anyways, this is a super fun one. We're going to also use some scales that, you know, or positions in the scale that people might not use all the time, that I have a blast in playing, positions 3 and 4 in E minor pentatonic. We're going to borrow a couple notes from our other scales, throw them in there, and suddenly, hopefully, a light bulb will go off so you can spice up your own pentatonic playing. It's super fun. It's addicting. I do it all the time now. It's just all these extra notes I never knew I could use. So, let's zoom in for a closer look. Check it out. All right, so check this out. We're going to do an E minor pentatonic lick, but like I was saying before, we're going to borrow some notes from the major scale, hit the blues note, but what I want to impart to you also is a technique I called stacking. I'm sure there's some other way to describe it, and I've talked about it in a lot of previous lessons, but if you're new here, stacking is going to refer to like staying in the same fret, but hitting the strings right on top of each other, like that sort of thing. I totally started noticing it when I was analyzing solos from players like Gilmour and, you know, just a lot of that kind of blues rock, Hendrix, you know, a lot of these players, they do this really cool thing, and I was like, how is that? What notes are they using to get that really cool phrasing? So we're going to start the lick in position 4 of E minor pentatonic, and that's going to go 10, 7, 8, or excuse me, 10, 8, 9, 7, 9, 7. Okay, so now we're going to start the lick, you know, fairly traditional. We're not going to do anything fancy, no borrowed notes. Okay, so what I did was I slid in from the 7th to the 9th fret on the D, and then you can either hammer the G string 7 to 9 or pick both of them, right? Whatever sound you like better. And then when we get to the 8th fret of the B, we're going to give it a little love. You'll be surprised what adding quarter note bends to your runs will do. It really makes it more vocal, makes it kind of sound a little more soulful, dare I say, right? So we could go like this, or we could go. Okay, so it adds just a little bit of pizzazz, right? Then we're going to do our first stack, which is going to be 9th fret G, 9th fret D. So we got. And then I'm going to come back to the G from the D string, and I'm going to hammer 7 to 9 on the G, and then hit the 9th fret again. Okay, so we got. Now I'm going to come back to the B string 10th fret with my 3rd finger, and then I'm going to set myself up for another riff, but this time I'm going to borrow some of those cool notes. So, for instance, I'm going to go outside of the box this way to the 11th fret, and then come back into the standard box. So I went 10, 11, 10, 8. And I do all hammer-ons and pull-offs. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the 9th fret G, 10th fret B, 9th fret G, and then I'm going to borrow a note from the major scale. Watch this. I'm going to go 8th fret to 9th fret on the B string. And then straight back up to the 7 to 9 on the G. So I went. Now this one's going to have more of the stacks in it. What we're going to do is is we're going to slide from the 4th position, E minor pentatonic, to the 3rd position. So I'm going to go back to that 8th fret B string, which I'm going to add a little love. Do another stack, 9G to 9D. Okay. And then come back, G string, 7 to 9. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide. So I slide from 9 to 7, pull off to 5, hammer back onto the 7th fret of the D, and then do a stack, but this time I'm going to go down to get it. So I go 7G, D5. And then I'm going to go pull off from the 7th fret to the 5th fret D, and then I'm going to stack the 7th fret A to E, and then hammer. Okay, so that last run. Okay, so we got. Okay, so what happens is you've just taken a basic, a couple of positions, position 4 and 3, which I love of the pentatonic scale. We've added a blues note and a note from the major scale, just in little tiny parts, right? It doesn't have to be this dramatic thing in your playing. Just a note here and there, on top of adding some stacking, something you may or may not be doing. But if you're not, it's super fun. So really, check it out. Players like Neil Sean, too, of Journey, does it all the time, and he's awesome. One of my favorite blues players, or blues rock, I should say. And then you're just mixing 2 scales together, right, to basically resolve back to E. And going back to our key. But just, breaking out of always using positions 1 and 2, because we do that all the time, and they're amazing positions. So I'm not saying, to be a different blues player, you got to get out of those positions. You don't. But I think a lot of us underutilize other really cool shapes and positions as well. So give that a shot. Yes! Way to go. If it's your first time here, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe. There's new videos coming out all the time. Not only that, you're going to, suddenly have like 70-something thousand friends you never knew you had. And we can all have a big, fun, jamming guitar community, which is my goal. A positive place to learn guitar and have fun while doing it. So thank you for checking in. Check out the other channel. There's lots of strumming stuff over there. Papa Stash Pop. There's over 420 lessons over there, too, of all sorts of strumming. There's country, all sorts of stuff. So don't be afraid to check that out. And then there's a couple other links down there in the description box. So check those out as well. You guys are amazing. Thank you once again for checking in here at Papa Stash 102. We'll catch you next time.